Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This video will be different. In this video I will read to you some things that Napoleon Bonaparte said from one book that I had for some time, and I will interpret his thoughts, statements. I have to confess that when I feel low with my heart, I read not about some people or what other people, important people that I respect or I admire, what they said, in order to kind of gain courage to continue against this garbage that surrounds sometimes our lives. Intellectual garbage, not physical garbage. And sometimes you need a little bit of a recalibration to say, no, this is not normality. That's normality. That's the way we were. There are some people like that, and so you don't forget. You don't get used to stupidity. You don't get, you don't get infected by it. So I'm going to read you from this book. This is a book I bought from Romania in one of my trips over there, and this is from I bought it in 2000, in 19th of December 2000, from Bucharest. And here is I always write down my name and the date and the place where I bought it. So the title of this book is Napoleon Said. So this is the guy, the French emperor, general, Corsican. So I already picked some little things. I always underline passages that I think they're important, like for instance, or I go around, for instance, I think, where is that? It should be over here. So I use a pencil and I underline things. Or I put exclamation mark, or I write around it. So when I come back, I get the most important things that I thought at that point were worth noting. So I'm going to use a few of this fantastic guy, some things that he said. I'm going to start with this. It's going to be in Romanian, but I will try to translate it, as good as I can. He said, 5 or 6 families share the thrones of Europe. That's what he said. They're all like right now. That's a few families that actually dictate what's going on. He said, talking about what should represent the image of France. I got my English friends, British friends. I gotta tell you that he's not very fond of you for obvious reasons. But it's interesting to see how he saw English in general, the politics and their strategy. I would like to know my enemy's strategy and what he saw about me. Maybe I can see, yeah, that's true, but I'm still going to do it the same way because it's in my own interest. So don't get upset with this guy more than possibly you are. He said the rooster, I was about to say the cock. The rooster has no power, no strength. The rooster cannot represent the image of an empire as France's empire. We have to pick between an eagle, elephant, or lion. He said, and we could stop at the eagle. So he didn't like the freaking rooster. I don't like it either. Remember, the United States voted between the bald eagle and turkey. Between those, and the turkey, I think, won with 51 versus 49 in the Senate. That's unbelievable. You would have been, and the rooster comes. You would not have the bald eagle, with those arrows and whatever it has, the Constitution, I think, in the other clause or talons. You would have the rooster. Fat. Well, I think right now could represent this country very well, based on the last statement I made. So here, he said, during the crossing about the channel, English Channel, we would have had only 12 hours, master on the situation, on the landing, England would have been gone. So he said we needed about 12 hours to make sure that we can cross the channel. England would have gone. I think England knew that either, but he couldn't cross the channel. The navy was too good. So stay home. What can I say? I said that there's just so you feel better, my English friends. All right, let's see here. He says, I used to, not I used to. So I'm thinking about 3 to 4 months ahead of time what I need to do. And I always put in front of me, I think about the worst. I put the worst ahead of me. That's how I think, he said. Right, another one. Discipline. This is important. Discipline and the strength to fight being tired are the utmost guarantees of victory. So to be disciplined and to be able to, fight tiredness, he said. Well, it's good to know. All right, let's move on here. What did I do here? I don't see. Oh, okay, he said, I always made love in two, not in threesome. And he was saying this during the reaction he had in Tbilisi when the Prussian king wanted to participate a little bit more actively in conversations between the two emperors. Napoleon did not agree. He said he and the Russian Tsar Alexander were discussing, and the Prussian king wanted to be involved, and said, I never made love in threesome, I always had a two. What kind of, he said, a war among Europeans is a civil war. You get that, my friends? Not nowadays. Civil war, not a war. All right. He said, he was talking about with one of his nephew. His your education, upbringing, your education is far from being accomplished. So far you don't have any clue how to pretend, how to be fake. So your upbringing is far from being completed, since you have no clue how to pretend, how to be fake. So you got that, my children? He said, now this is for English, guys, so you won't like this one. He said, I didn't find in the English way of negotiating in the of English government, but sneakiness, slyness, and how do you call that? Ill will, in bad faith, and sneakiness. He said that's all I found in the English government's way of negotiating. Well, he didn't have. That's surprising. But maybe, he said Napoleon entered Moscow on the 14th of September and stayed over there 5 weeks. So he stayed in the Kremlin 5 weeks in Moscow, and he was waiting for Kutuzov and the Russians to come and, hey, let's see who's the man here, who's got this. And the guys were like, no, we went for nature. Is it still snowing outside? Yeah, come on, it's still, Jesus Christ, Napoleon, get up, out, go back. And then he burned it, and I think he got cold, and he burned it and left. All right, well, it's here. He said, they forgot the way I treated them in Tbilisi. I could have smashed them then, like squashed them. My clemency was a stupidity. He was talking about how he treated the guys that he beat then in Tbilisi. He was nice, and now when the turn is the other way around, he's treated differently. And well, what can you say? Smart? No. He said, I did everything what I could to die at Arcis. He said, with the sword in his hand, the emperor entered the fight. In the middle of the fight, in the Arcis-sur-Aube, against the Austrians. Yeah, just like nowadays our generals. They get into fight from 5,000 miles away, and then they get Purple Hearts. I remember how they hailed, what's his name, Schwarzkopf, the general of where they were. Look at the Montgomery, Commodore Montgomery. Look at what's his name, the Desert Fox. They were over there. And in Africa I'm talking about. People familiar with the issue know exactly what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about. All right, let's get it on here. He says, the unfaithful French immigrants, which I forgiven, they betrayed me and they went to the other side. So he upset a little bit about that one. He said, I prefer to leave the throne, so abdicate, instead of sign a embarrassing peace treaty. He says only the Bourbons, the kings, or the, how do you call it, the monarchy, the Bourbons could accept such a peace dictated by the Kazakhs. He must have lost from the Russians then. He said the big powers, European powers, did not fight me. They fought the French Revolution. That's true. You can look at this right now with some other criminal from Moscow. They don't fight that guy. They fight the idea. Is the wrong idea. He said, I accepted the wars the English ministers instigated against me and against the Russian Revolution, not against him. That was my ad, wrong. He said that Hudson Lowe, governor of St. Helena, the island where he was transported over there, always spoke to Napoleon. He was addressing Napoleon General Bonaparte. He never talked to him, address him as emperor. Well, it tells you some. I mean, you understand certain things, but on the other hand, you won, so show a little bit more of grace, I would get. But general is still good. But why do you say general? Anyway, he said, this is important. They speak our language. They speak our language. They were born on the same land as we, but they don't have the heart or the feelings that we have. They are not French at all. He was talking about he was criticizing authors in France after he lost at Waterloo, and then he was exiled on St. Helena, and they were trying to denigrate his achievements and victories. You know how they are. We have them here too. He says, I became a prisoner from my own choosing. I just said, I give up. I turn myself to you. And he said, I did this to the Englishman because I thought in its laws, in its morality, in its public morality. He said, I was very much wrong about that. So he when he lost, he lost. He could have chosen to fight until the end or retreat and whatever. He said, well, I'm going to give up. I'm going to turn myself in. He turned himself in to the English, because remember, these people here, they think about Waterloo and they think about Wellington, Duke Wellington, right? Oh, he beat Napoleon. That's far from true. It was a coalition over there. Napoleon decided to go to turn himself in to him. He said, because I believed in their morality and their laws. He said, I regret that greatly. He said here, I got maybe a few more. He said, when he was talking with when he was in front of, in a meeting as a prisoner, they were talking, blah, 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 and they were, why do you need to talk? We don't need to hear your opinion as a prisoner. And he said, it doesn't mean that you don't need it. I'm going to tell you anyway. Let's go here. I think this is the last one. Yeah. He said, I'm very happy I have no religion. He says, this way I have no, how do you call it when you're afraid of things? I don't have, I'm not afraid of chimeric, I don't know, terror or something like that. But he said, I'm very happy, I have no religion. So this is Napoleon for you. And this is just what I picked when I read the book in 2000. So probably if I read right now, I would add some more, because that's how usually it goes. I don't know, he's portrayed as, you know, nowadays, as a midget with an inferiority complex and an idiot and a criminal and a megalomaniac and all that. This is what people want to see, ignoring everything else that he's done, or everything. Remember, he came with, he gave France the Napoleonic laws. They still have them right now. Code of law, Napoleonic Code of Law. They still have them. And many, many other things this guy did for them, and not only for them, for many other groups that right now they look down on him. And look what kind of groups. He gave them a lot of things. He recognized them as being citizens of France and all that. But anyway, this is Napoleon with good and bad. And you can't deny his war genius. And, you know, he has his sins as we had them. And the problem is, the more important we get, the higher we get in this world, we are capable of committing more damage because we have more authority. Remember, if this guy says, no, don't do that, that could affect tens of millions of people. If I say don't do that, will affect what? A few people around me. So you have to understand that either. So it's a great responsibility, and everything you say is twisted, turned, and so on. Well, he fought the monarchies. The problem is that he fought the monarchies, but he became the emperor. He said, I'm the emperor, and told the Pope, you come here, or if you don't come here, I'm going to crown myself anyway. You, the Pope, basically. And then he took the crown and I'm emperor. Now you all can leave. With check mark. Next, what's next? Your next is to invade Austria. Okay, let's go and take care of those guys. Well, anyway, he had some loyal people. He had some weasels as well. And I don't know. I read a few books about him. I also read his memoirs, and interesting books. But obviously they are subjective because they are his memoirs, right? So thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.